fine with doing the nose picking and stuff like that. I need to do it while it's on you. Okay.
Is everybody ready?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. And thank you for attending the Candidates Forum today, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. My name is Michelle Colvard, and I'm the chairman of the board of directors, and we appreciate you being here to share your stand today with our community. The Chamber would like to remind everyone that it is a nonpartisan organization, and we do not endorse any candidate. Your moderator today will be Deborah Ashley Smith, president of the Chamber. Again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Very much appreciate you coming out with us this afternoon, and I'm very pleased and honored to be your moderator today. For the benefit of all of you, as a reminder, and also for our audience, I'm going to review what we put together as the format for this afternoon. So, just prior to the event, all the candidates, by random drawing, determine the order in which they would answer each question. So we will start with a different speaker depending on the order in which you drew. The candidates were given advance notice of the questions. These questions were developed by the Chamber in consultation with other leaders in the community. A specific amount of response time has been assigned to each question, and when the question is read, I will introduce who will be the order in which you will answer the question, as well as the time allotted for response. 30 seconds prior to the lapse of your time, you'll receive a signal from the timekeeper, Debbie Eller. If the candidate is still speaking when the time has lapsed fully, the timekeeper will ring the bell once. She will ring the bell repeatedly if speaking continues after an additional 15 seconds. So we're going to begin with a 2-minute introduction for each candidate. We have 4 very specific questions, and at the conclusion of the prepared question and responses, each candidate will have an opportunity to conclude with 2 minutes worth of time. You can use this time to discuss a previous question, a platform issue that you've not had an opportunity to discuss, or other information about your campaign. Again, we'll thank you for being here today and for participating in this very important event for our community. And we'll begin now. We'll begin with the introduction. So each of you will have 2 minutes as a self-introduction, and the order in which you will have that opportunity is Mike LaBrose, Donnie, Chris, and then Ben. If you'll introduce yourself and what other information you have.
Thank you. My name is Mike LaBrose, and I'm running for re-election to the Caldwell County Board of Commissioners. I would like to thank the Caldwell County Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, along with Executive Director Deborah Ashley and Caldwell County Government for hosting in the City County Chambers. 4 years ago, when you first elected me, I said that I would be an independent voice, your independent voice, with no strings attached, and I would look at all county government and do the best and make the best decisions that I could. And in this past 4 years, we've not only reduced the tax rate once, but twice. We've also increased education funding at the K-12 level along with community college level. We've also increased emergency services from the sheriff's office to emergency management and EMS. We've also created jobs in this county. We're not where we want to be by no stretch of the imagination, but you can see Caldwell County growing. You can see jobs being created. And I appreciate the EDC and the work that they are doing, along with the municipalities all across our county, working together for the common good of Caldwell County. I'm married to my wife Ellen for 30 years. We have 3 children, Jessica, Jennifer, and Jana. Jessica and Jennifer are school teachers in our county school system, and we're just so grateful to be in this county. We've lived in this county for 28 years. I've served on the county commission for my first term. Prior to that, I served on the Board of Education, and I served as vice chairman and chairman of the Board of Education. We had many great things through the Board of Education and on the Board of Education, and I'm very proud of that. I hope to be able to answer a lot of these questions today, and I hope that you will vote for me starting April 24th. Thank you.
And now, Mr. Potter.
Thank you, Deborah. I too want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. I think it's a great opportunity to get our thoughts and ideas out to the public, and you guys do a wonderful job for Caldwell County. I'm fairly new to the politics here in Caldwell County. I did serve on the Sawmills Town Council for 4 years. I lived here in Caldwell County for almost 15 years. I was born down in eastern North Carolina. I live over in Doe Run in the Sawmills area off of Dry Ponds Road. I'm married to a wonderful wife, Lisa Potter, who is employed out at MDI. I have a 12-year-old son whose name is Cameron Potter, who is a 6th grader at Hudson Middle School. I get asked this question quite a bit. Why did you choose to run for this seat? And it's plain and simple that I had a couple of choices. I could sit back and complain and fuss and gripe like a lot of people do, or I could get involved and try to make a difference. I've chosen to get involved, and I want an opportunity to do the best I can for Caldwell County. I think that Caldwell County has a lot to offer, and I think that with the proper management and structure and proactive vision for the future, I think we can move Caldwell County to places it's never been before. I'm sort of a newcomer to this, so I can't talk a lot about what I have done. I will be focusing more on what I will do and hope to do. But again, I want to thank the Chamber. I want to thank the citizens of Caldwell County for allowing me this opportunity. And I want to thank the other candidates that are here. And good luck to you, and look forward to the questions. Thank you.
Mr. Barlow.
Thank you, Deborah, and thank you for the Chamber for hosting this event. I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to have a great forum to answer questions and to have a nice debate, so to speak, to educate the citizens of our county. Of course, I'm Chris Barlow. I'm one of your 5 current commissioners who serve on the board. I was elected in 2010 to this board, and I am married of 22 years to my wife, Wendy. We have 3 kids. Our ages are Lindsay is 18, Emily, who is 14, and Cody, who is 9. All 3 of those are currently enrolled in Caldwell County school system. A lifelong resident of Caldwell County. I'm employed by Maymead Incorporated as operations manager. I've been a volunteer fireman for almost 30 years and currently still serve as a fireman to this day. I'm a current member of the Caldwell County Planning Board, Foothills Regional Airport Authority, the Smart Start Board, and the Local Emergency Planning Commission. I'm very honored to be your commissioner and to have served Caldwell County for these past 4 years. I have worked very hard along with my fellow commissioners in the past 4 years to bring positive change to Caldwell County. Some of the accomplishments that we can attest to that over the past 4 years, as Mr. LaBrose had said earlier, we were able to lower our tax rate from 65.99 to 60.0, which is a very positive move, while other counties surrounding us were having to raise their taxes just to survive. One thing that I'm very proud of is we are starting to see some job creation. Just since August 2013, we have documented over 800 new jobs in Caldwell County. There's still a lot to be done, and I look forward to working with the EDC on that in the future. We need to get more folks into these areas that have little. I'm sorry, she's ringing the bell.
That's okay.
But thank you, and I'll pass it on.
All right, Mr. Griffin.
Hello, my name is Ben Griffin, and I am a resident of Caldwell County, have been all my life. I'd like to say thank you to the Chamber and putting on this event. And I am married to Jackie. We have 9 kids from 39 to 17 and 8 grandkids. So we have plenty of activity at our house, lots of days. I served as a county commissioner from 2008 to 2012. During that time, we came in with a 22% tax increase at our back. And we thought we may have to raise taxes the first year into the end of the term. But with the help of the employees in the county and the management that came in then, we were able to avoid that. And during the 4 years, we reduced the budget by $12 million a year. We had already reduced the budget $10 million when these other candidates came into office. And the next 2 years, we reduced it down from a $78 million adjusted budget down to a $66 million budget. You know, when I went in, I said I would work for the people, and I kept my promises to the voters during that time. We worked with EDC for jobs, and of course we realized that if you don't bring jobs into the county, that we're going to export our kids. They're going to have to go other places to get jobs. We put funding in place, increased each year for the schools and the colleges and all the agencies at a balanced amount. I ask for your vote for commissioner during this term, and I will keep my promises to you again. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll move to the first formatted question, and I'm going to begin each question by announcing a topic, and then I'm going to make a brief statement related to that topic, and then I'll give you an opportunity to answer, and I will ask the question. I will also tell you that this question allows you 2 minutes response time. And the order in which you're going to answer this question, we'll begin with Mr. Potter, then Mr. Barlow, then Mr. Griffin, and then Mr. LaBrose. So the topic is overcrowding in our local jail facility. Our jail facilities can be expensive to operate, as all are. Caldwell County's current operation plan includes housing inmates sentenced to time in our local facility, as well as bringing in federal inmates. In fact, Caldwell County built the current jail facility to assure compliance with the certification necessary to house those federal inmates, because it would generate revenue that could pay both operational and debt retirement expenses of that new facility. However, recent changes in the law, the state law, regarding inmates sentenced to serve in state operated facilities has shifted those local criminals back into their home facilities. And this reduces the amount of space for housing federal inmates. Thus, we have an overcrowding issue in our local jail. So the question would be, would you comment on this situation and provide some insight on any strategy you might have for either reducing the cost or generating more revenue? Mr. Potter.
That's a great question, and it's come up quite a bit as I'm making my rounds through the county talking to people. Obviously crime is a major concern, and I think that today, as we look at it short term, I don't think we need any type of expansion or a new jail. I don't think that it's warranted. I do think that as we move down the road, the next 4 or 5 years, maybe a little sooner than that, maybe 6, 7 years or longer than that, 6, 7 years, I think we will need at least another pod or a little bit larger facility, because we have to keep up with the changes in what the state's doing. I think that the way we manage it today and possibly cut some cost and that type of thing is to work closely. We have to get our sheriff to work closely with our DA's office. We have the space now. The problem is it's full of criminals. Okay, I think the key there is pushing the burden, some of this burden, back to the DA's office to speed up the prosecution of some of these people that are out there in jail. Currently we've got some serious felons that are waiting trial and have been waiting trial for 4 or 5 years. So I think that it's important that we have to push some of that burden back to the DA's office. We can't absorb all that burden. I think we do have some issues that we'll have to address, but I don't see that happening in the near future. Again, I think with the proper planning, and as we talk about planning down the road, I'm a visionary. I'm a big plan guy. So I want to look forward to the future. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to plan for a larger jail as we move down the road. So today, I don't see a need for an expansion.
Thank you. Mr. Barlow?
Yes, Deborah, and we have addressed this situation between commissioners and with our staff as well, and I tend to agree with Mr. Potter's statement that at this time I don't really think that there needs to be a jail expansion. Changes in the state law regarding inmates has created challenges across all the counties of North Carolina and how the situation is dealt with. It's actually it's increased the jail population. It's increased medical care expenses, and it's made the burden directly back to the counties. As your commissioner, I want to continue to work with law enforcement to encourage the use of ankle bracelets and the house arrest program. And I think that's a positive program that we're using today that is proven that works. At the same time, I like to work with our judicial system to try to reduce bail in some certain instances that would help this problem as well. I think there also needs to be an outreach to legislators in Raleigh to make them aware and let them understand the drain that this has to our county. Because, just building more buildings is not the answer. We have to process these people faster and get them either to a more suitable facility or process them through the court systems at a faster rate. But I think reasonable people can come together and find appropriate situations to this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffin?
Thank you. The concept of the local jail was that the jail would hold people pre-trial, people that haven't been sentenced. And after the people were sentenced, then they become part of the prison system, which is the responsibility of the state. The state rolled that back on us, and I think it caught everybody by surprise. It caught the county by surprise. I think it caught the legislatures by surprise. And I think we have to go back through our Senator Suchek and also Representative Starnes and make an appeal for them to fix this problem at that level. There is no way that a local county can become a state prison. And if they expand that more with more time, the burden would just be greater. So building more buildings is never going to be the answer to fix the problem. As well, I think we have to work with the DA to expedite the people through the system and to get bonds reduced or put them on ankle bracelets and put them out. It cost about, when it started, it was about $4 a day, and I'm not sure what it was a day, what it is a day now for an ankle bracelet. But it costs us $45 a day if we house them. You know, we're getting $65 a day from the federal prisoners, so there's some revenue there. But the problem is the revenue don't start from the state on these that they're leaving now. After 90 days, they are paying $40 a day. But from what I understand, they're not always doing the right paperwork to process them to where we get paid. And I think we need to make sure we get paid and get the legislature to change this to where we don't have to pay for the state's prison system. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaBrose?
Thank you, Deborah. One of the problems in a format like this is that when you go last, everyone has said exactly what you would say, and I agree with my fellow colleagues here that that's exactly what we need to do, and what has been said is exactly right. The state has pushed the burden with the mandated Sentence Restructuring Act down to the counties, not only Caldwell, but every county in this state. We are currently working with our district attorney to work through the caseload. He's putting more resources up here into the county to help work through that. And we as county commissioners have asked for that, along with Sheriff Jones. And we work real closely with Sheriff Jones, and we appreciate what the Sheriff's Office continues to do, not only in the county and in our jail. We've increased our house arrest program, as been said, from 30 ankle bracelets to 60, which is a tremendous savings cost, and then produces revenue because we can then experience a greater revenue from our federal employees and federal inmates, where they pay $65. The federal government does that, where it costs us $45 in order to ship out an inmate because of the overcrowding. So there's revenue there, and we're saving revenue and costs with the ankle bracelets. I believe that we can work through this. The sheriff believes that this is a temporary bump in the inmate population, and I believe with proper working together with our legislators and our commissioners and the federal marshals, finance officers, we can work through this and be successful in our jail program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. LaBrose. We'll move to our second formative question, and with the luck of the draw, we're going to begin again with Mr. Potter, and then Mr. Barlow, then Mr. Griffin, and then Mr. LaBrose. We have 2-minute response time for this question. The topic is employee compensation, and the economic challenges of the past decade have certainly impacted government in the same way, or many of the same ways, as it has local business. This often means minimal opportunity for employees to advance financially. As a result, we sometimes have lost, and may continue to lose some very talented employees to other communities or even other careers. So the question, how high on the priority list is this issue, and how would you propose dealing with this issue? Mr. Potter.
Thank you, Deborah. I think this is a very critical question and a top priority for me. If I'm elected, I think that one of the major concerns is our assets in this county. Well, our assets are our employees. They're our number one asset to our county government. A lot of these people choose to do these jobs because they like the job, not necessarily for the money. Previous commissions have, done a lot to take money away, to take benefits away. I think that, moving forward, and if I'm elected, I will put a major focus on trying to improve morale. We have to look at ways of keeping qualified employees. You're exactly right. We spend way too much time, way too much money on training good quality people, and they get up and spend a couple of years with us, and they move and go elsewhere for better pay. If you look at the turnover rate right now in the sheriff's office and also in EMS together, I don't know exactly what the breakdown is for each department, but together there's approximately 186 employees. There's been a 13% turnover rate in the last year, primarily because of income and benefits. We have to stop that. We have to put back our priorities on our employees. I don't know why we would not do that. I don't know why our county government would not put our employees first. It's something that we have to plan for. It's something that we have to continue to work for, and we have to strive to keep good quality people, good wages, good benefits, which in turn keeps good morale, and you get better work from the workers whenever they're happy with their job. So I would support doing whatever we had to do to try to improve that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barlow.
Deborah, I think if you took a poll today of the entire county, I doubt you'd find anyone who has not been impacted by the economy of the past decade. Just as the private sector has had to endure hardships, local governments have had to endure hardships as well. I'm proud to say that as of the past 4 years, while sitting on this board, we have been able to cut spending in areas that were necessary, and actually raise spending in others. And one of those other areas, 2 of those 4 years, I have voted for a 2% cost of living increase for our employees. And I think that is a crucial part for us to retain employees. It's more of a token of our appreciation to let these folks know that, hey, we're not the bank, but we appreciate your hard work and your efforts. And like I said, we voted for that cost of living raise for 2 years running. I want to touch a little bit on Mr. Potter's concern about not treating our employees to the best of their ability, or of what we think we should. One of my traits has been I've been able to get on everyone's level, and that means from scraping snow at the county office building at 2 o'clock in the morning to going up to the administrative office and working with those folks. I am very involved in all aspects of our employees, and I will remain to be an advocate for them in the future. I don't really think that we have a lot of people leaving Caldwell County. We have a benefit package that is pretty good. These folks, they come here because of our longevity. They come here because they know that we don't look to get rid of any services or any benefits. So as your commissioner, I would keep those the same, and I would also look in the future to add on when necessary.
Thank you very much. Mr. Griffin?
Thank you. During the last 5 years, the private sector has experienced many layoffs and many reduction in hours. By contrast, the county employees have had very stable employment. If you look at their benefit plan, as part of it, they've got a 12-day sick leave, 11-day paid holidays, and up to 5 weeks vacation. This compares much better. It's much better in the county than it is in most of the private sector area. We also have, in the past, gave them cost of living increases and would do so in the future. But I think if you look at the package, there may be isolated cases that need attention. But I think if you look at the package for Caldwell County, they're trying to do a good job for the employees and treat them nice, and as they well deserve to be treated. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaBrose?
Thank you, Deborah. Your county government will only be as good and effective as the quality and experience of our employees. As a commissioner, it is critical that we have the best qualified and experienced employees to serve the citizens of Caldwell County. We have excellent employees, and they work hard every day giving the best customer service possible by being responsive and being respectful to all citizens. I have supported our employees with a small cost of living increase 2 out of the 4 years in office. With increasing health care and other costs, our employees deserve to be compensated fairly and in line with other like counties. I will continue to work within our means to make sure all employees are compensated fairly. I would never support action to take away a salary study, which was attempted 6 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move now to the next question. The order will change a little, and our first person to speak will be Mr. LaBrose, followed by Mr. Potter, Mr. Barlow, and then Mr. Griffin. This is a response time of 2 minutes, and the topic is capital outlay. And my comments about that would be that over the next 2 to 4 years, the Caldwell County Commission would be expected to need to plan and make decisions regarding capital outlay for property and infrastructure. There's lots of examples we could give, but let's say technology, computers, vehicles, emergency equipment, animal shelter. You may know of lots of others. So I would ask you to please select 2 or 3 primary outlay categories you would like to address because you have particular concern about them. And I'd like you to share your philosophy in planning and making decisions for those outlays. Mr. LaBrose?
Thank you, Deborah. The need is for a short and long-range plan with goals that are clear and flexible, depending on our resources. The county used to have a long-range plan with the help of the Western Piedmont Council of Governments, but that plan was done away with before I came into office. Last year was the first time in 4 years that we had an open budget meeting with open discussion. It was held at the county library, and it was televised, and a lot of folks attended. I would like to see that process again with more openness and transparency. I would like to see 21st century technology in every county department. The secular world has it, and sometimes county governments tend to lag behind in technology, and I would like to explore ways to make sure that we have the best technology available. I would like to see frontline emergency vehicles that are new and that are properly rotated out to serve in other areas of our county. A long-range plan for our animal shelter to expand or remodel. A future EMS base on the east side of town, school and community college construction needs, and other infrastructure needs determined by our long-range planning. We must, and I underscore must, continue to live within our means and not put an extra burden on our taxpayers. As our economy grows, then we grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Potter?
Thank you, Deborah. I agree with Mike. He stole some of my thunder there, but I'm sure that I'll get some of his later, so it'll be even. I think that for Caldwell County to progress into the future, we have to have a plan. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a visionary. I like to look ahead. I'm very disappointed in our county government, and like Mike said, we had a plan, had a pretty good plan, but it was done away with. For why it was done away with, I can't tell you. But there's no way that Caldwell County can progress to the future and progress and improve everything economically, schools. We have to have a plan. We cannot survive and move forward without one. We have to take a proactive approach. We cannot be reactive. We've had a reactive approach. I met with the county manager recently, and he basically he come out and said, we don't have a plan for the future. We're living year to year. How do you manage a $68 million budget approximately year to year? That's insane. And I agree with Mike. I think that we have to be conservative. We have to take a very conservative approach and prioritize. What I'd like to see is improved EMS services. I agree with Mike. We have to stop buying these used equipment. We have to buy frontline ready stuff. We have to look at the areas where, like Grace Chapel, Kings Creek, we've got to look at those areas. They're in desperate need of ambulance service today. Sheriff's office has got to have quality equipment. Okay, patrol cars have to be a priority. We have to look at technology inside our county government, the health department, social services, the different areas. We have to make sure that we are progressing forward and not getting left behind, because technology is changing every day. Unfortunately, we're not. We're leaving year to year. We have to stop that. We cannot continue down the road. I ask this question all the time. It's kind of like a road map. If you have a trip planned and you want to go somewhere, you have to have a road map, or today you have to have a GPS. You can't get there. We have to have a plan to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barlow?
Deborah, the county's made great strides to improve its capital situation despite the restraints on a bad economy. The sheriff's office has been recipient of new patrol vehicles and other safety equipment over the past few years. Priorities for involvement would include upgrading our ambulance fleet, which we have been doing. We are supposed to take delivery of a new ambulance actually any day now, and that will be put in service the day it comes. The purchase of several new units needs to take place in the near future to ensure the quality of our fleet and reduce the repair cost. When I took office in 2010, our ambulance repair cost for that certain year in 2010 was $72,000 a year. In 2014, we're budgeted to spend $140,000 a year. So that increase has doubled. So that tells me that we need to improve. You can't continue to keep buying used ambulances. It's okay short term when feasible and when necessary, but you have to start rotating them out with new at certain times, or you're going to have them all worn out at the same time, and the replacement cost is going to be extravagant. Also, a priority of mine is to increase EMS service, and as Mr. Potter had recently said about the Grace Chapel area, we are working on a plan right now to put an ambulance and ALS unit in the Grace Chapel community, which I hope will be done by July. So that will help that community. Also, another priority is an EMS base in the Lower Creek area that could serve the Kings Creek and the Oak Hill communities of our county, which would have better response time from coming from downtown Lenore. But I do believe in a plan. I think we've done a pretty good job thus far of taking care of our needs. It's not that we don't have a plan. It's hard to put a long-range plan in place when you have commissioners that change a board every 2 years. But we do have certain goals, and we work hard to achieve those goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffin?
Thank you. While I was in office, we put a 5-year budget plan into place. I don't know that they've looked at it since that time to see how that was. The county's fund balance is designed to absorb capital outlay and also for any emergencies that might come up. We're plenty funded to take care of that. When you look at long-term planning, if we were a school system and we had the oversight of the school system, then it would be primarily our responsibility to deal with those buildings. Going into the future, that is going to have to be looked at, and the county's going to have to participate in it to some degree. But that is still a school board issue. When you're looking at DSS and health and sheriff and EMS, there's limited things that you have a 5-year plan for. Vehicles don't last generally more than 5 years, and so the rotation of that with the mileage, there's already a plan in place. If they follow that, and buying new ambulances or police cars is not a problem for the group of commissioners who are in at that time to make that decision. But just to shoot out there in the wind and say we need a long-term plan without any idea of what they're talking about is what that is. It's an idea. Ideas are cheap. The reality of putting those things in place and identifying those is a little more difficult. And as a commissioner, we took care of the county in a very solid way when I was there. And if I'm elected, I would work to do that as well. And we funded all agencies at appropriate levels. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to the final formatting question, and this is one that you will have a 3-minute response time for. The order in which it will be answered will be Mr. Barlow, Mr. Griffin, Mr. LaBrose, and then Mr. Potter. The topic will be about long-term planning. It has been a number of years since Caldwell County published a formal long-term plan, and most business leaders would anticipate that this was going to be a priority for the commissioners, at least within the next couple of years. Typically, a long-term plan in this community has involved establishing a common vision in a partnership between the county at large and its individual communities like Wilson Creek or Kings Creek or Oak Hill. The question is 2 parts. What general vision do you have for Caldwell County long term? And second, what are your primary concerns for the future of Caldwell County? And again, we'll begin with Mr. Barlow.
Deborah, when I envision Caldwell County, I see an area that continues to recover from the worst economic challenge since the Great Depression. By charting a new, more diverse course that will lead into a brighter future, I think that will be most benefit for our county. I see a county that educates its children and provides them with resources in order to obtain a 4-year college degree without having to leave our county. I see an area that maintains a healthy respect in past traditions, while also looking through the future of recruitment of cutting-edge companies. I see a county blessed with natural beauty from Wilson's Creek all the way to the Catawba River. Most of all, I see a county that we're all proud to call home. And I think that each and every one of us can say that proudly. As your commissioner, I will continue to be concerned for our economy. Far too many people have been left behind, even during our recent recovery. We need to continue on efforts to bring industry in the traditional and new ways of doing business in order to increase our employment base and promote a future for our children. Caldwell County has faced challenges before and met them head on. And if elected to be your commissioner again, I will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffin?
Caldwell County has worked with the cities to promote jobs and to help them, and would continue to do so. We must continue to work with the schools and college to help make our community desirable for those looking to come here and to prepare our kids for jobs and adulthood. The commissioners should be managers with the oversight skills to make the best decisions for the 83,000 citizens of Caldwell County. In the past, that has not always happened. Some people were poorly identified and very poorly executed. We need proven leadership that keeps their promises, and if elected, I would keep promises to the voters. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaBrose?
Thank you, Deborah. I believe Caldwell County's brightest days are ahead of us. Caldwell County is a great place to live, to work, and to raise a family. I'm encouraged by our job growth, new business and industry opening with good paying jobs. Our EDC, along with all our municipalities in this county, work together to move our county forward. My vision is for Caldwell County to move forward and not to look back at the past. It's to embrace a growing, diverse economy and to prepare our workforce for the 21st century, to use the taxpayers' resources wisely, and to be accountable to every citizen. Some of the concerns that I have going forward is that we will not be prepared and we'll go back to a micromanaged county chasing opportunity away. That will become more reactive than proactive, and that we won't plan for the short or long term. I would like to reopen our planning department with a planner, not a full-blown staff, but a planner to help us grow and to manage that growth. We are ready for that growth. I'm concerned that we may go back to used emergency vehicles with skyrocketing maintenance costs and not provide our citizens with the adequate services they deserve. I'm concerned that we will not support education from K-12 to the community college with their growing needs for our children, our young men and women. 6 years ago, the prior board took $1.2 million away from the K-12 schools. If that funding was still in place, we may have been able to begin the next phase in the school system's plan at Granite Falls Middle School, though they're just few of my concerns I have for Caldwell County if we go back to the micromanaged leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Potter?
Once again, I agree with a lot of what Mike said. I think that, one of my biggest concerns, and I got a little bit backwards here, I'm going to go with concerns first, is the fact that we got to stop living in the past. We got to stop talking about what we have done, and let's talk about what we're going to do. It's easy to talk about what you have done and and things like that. We can go back and we can dwell on the past, and we can fall into that woe is me, and but we got to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, and I think Caldwell County has done a fantastic job of that. Like Commissioner Barlow said, we took a major hit in the economy, but I think we've rebounded. I think we're coming back strong, and if we're not prepared, again, like Mr. LaBrose said, if we're not prepared for the future, we're not going to be ready for it. If you look around what's happening to other counties around us, they're growing, they're moving, they're building retail. Things are changing, things are moving, things are growing. We're not. We're sitting still, and I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about the past leadership and the lack of heart and concern for the people of Caldwell County. If you look at my slogan, it talks about people over politics. I truly believe that. If you notice, I'm the only candidate that doesn't have a written speech, doesn't have a bunch of canned answers to your questions. I'm talking to you from my heart. I'm passionate about Caldwell County. I'm not from here, but this is my home. I'm going to raise my son here. My family will be here. My grandkids will be here. I'm extremely concerned about where we're headed as a county. We have to do a better job of planning for the future, expecting the unexpected, being prepared for the unexpected. As much change as it happens in our state government, our federal government, we can't control what happens there. But what we can control is being prepared for those changes and not being blindsided. If we would take more time and sit down with the county employees, sit down with the department heads, we could put together a great long-term plan. Mr. Griffin talks about you can't plan for those things. Yes, you can. You bring these department heads in, you have monthly budget meetings, you talk about what the needs are. These are the people. I don't know anything about EMS and fire department. I give kudos to Mr. Barlow there. He's got some experience there. I don't. We got to listen to our department heads and our leaders in the community. We can't continue to sit back and do what we think is right. I'm sick and tired of our government, local, state, and federal, doing what they think is right for me. I want to listen to the people. I've been out in this community for the last 3 months. I've knocked on doors. I've talked to hundreds of people. They're concerned about where we're headed. I'm passionate about it. I'm very confident that we can put together a great long-term plan that can move this county forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, as we conclude this forum today, we have offered each of you 2 minutes, again, to be used at your discretion, whether it would be to discuss a prior question, discuss your personal platform, or to expand on something that you've already had on the table today. The order in which you will be given this opportunity is Mr. Griffin, followed by Mr. LaBrose, then Mr. Potter, and then Mr. Barlow. Mr. Griffin?
Thank you. The main challenge for Caldwell County right now is leadership. Commissioners LaBrose and Barlow had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to save the county taxpayers millions of dollars by allowing the school system to purchase the former Barlow office building plus 40 acres to locate the new William Lenore Middle School there. They instead chose to spend many millions more on a smaller building in another location. They were not prepared to make the best decision for the taxpayers. During my time in office, we reduced the budget $12 million. We're unable to fund all services at acceptable levels. I would bring experienced leadership to the commission. The county should take every opportunity to promote jobs in Caldwell County. If we do not increase jobs, then our children and grandchildren will have to leave to find work. Working with economic development commissions, cities, and the college, we can make an effective joint effort to bring new businesses and expand existing businesses in our county. Serving as commissioner from 2008 through 2012, I have experience working for jobs and will continue to do so if elected. While I was commissioner, we reduced the county's debt from $59 million to $39 million, a reduction of $20 million. I worked to fund all the county agencies at the proper amounts. I helped put in an employees clinic to offer employees easy access to health care and to help control the county's medical costs. I also helped start a customer service program in the county to empower employees to work more effectively with the citizens and each other. If elected, I will work for all citizens to provide the necessary level of service for the present growth and in the future. Caldwell County's greatest asset is the people. The county government should work with all groups, the cities, the schools, the college, the private groups, to showcase the greatness of our community. The reason I want to serve as your commissioner is to make life better for our people in whatever way I can. I work for that goal, as commissioner by reducing the budget, reducing taxes when it was possible, and still keeping services at acceptable levels so that our citizens weren't burdened with higher taxes and ineffective government. I ask for your vote in this election. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Mr. LaBrose?
Thank you, Deborah. I would like to thank the Chamber and you, Deborah, and Caldwell County for hosting this forum again today. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you, the citizen of Caldwell County. 4 years ago, I promised that I would listen, learn, and lead. I would be independent with no strings attached. I believe I have been true to my promise. I've agreed and disagreed with the leadership, but I've always been respectful, and I have never used derogatory remarks against anyone in a meeting, on the radio, or in the newspaper. Yes, I voted against the school at the Burr Hill main offices because I didn't want to take that building off the tax books. Over a 50-year period, we saved the county taxpayer $2.1 million. We would have taken off the tax books if the school would have gone over there. Plus, it would have gone on a major 4-lane highway. I didn't want to do that. That building right now holds 100 plus jobs, good paying jobs. school systems don't create that many jobs like that. I think that was a much better bang for our buck to go where the school was going. You, the citizens, have elected me and re-elected me. I am humbled by your trust in my ability, my professionalism, and the way I live my life. I've worked hard for you, and I am a dedicated, proven leader. I have no axe to grind, I have no one to get rid of, and I have no personal agenda. My only agenda is you. I love this county. I love the people. And I would be grateful to gain your support once again for my re-election. Thank you.
Mr. Potter?
Thanks again, Deborah. Citizens of Caldwell County, you're going to have a choice in the upcoming election. And I'm asking you for your vote and your support in this election. I promise you that I will do my very best. I will work hard. I will listen to your needs and your concerns. I will be a very active voice for you, the citizen of Caldwell County. I will not, at any time, have any personal interest or take any personal interest in the decisions that I make. I will always put people over politics. I want to bring you a more open government. I don't want the decisions to be made behind closed doors. When we're talking about your future and your prosperity, everything needs to be in the open. We need to sit around a table, and there's council chambers and there's commissioner's chambers here, and we need to talk about the issues. We need to have public meetings, open budget meetings, to where you come and you listen to what's going on. We need to involve our department heads. We need to listen to our employees. They know the answers to most of our problems. I don't understand and still don't understand why we don't listen to them. I think Mr. LaBrose has done a good job. He did talk about the meeting earlier they had last year. That was a great start. We've got to continue to push that. Folks, I'm asking you for your vote in the upcoming election. And again, I will make you proud, and I will work hard for you, the citizens of Caldwell County. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you,
Barlow?
Deborah, and thanks again for hosting this event today. The main challenge facing Caldwell County continues to be improving employment. While we've made progress in this area during my first term, more needs to be done in order to provide economic security for both current and the next generations. Since I took office, the jobless rate has declined from nearly 14% to around 7.5%. For the first time in over a decade, Caldwell County has now posted a lower unemployment rate than Burke or Catawba counties. At the same time, I recognize that the unemployment rate does not paint a complete picture. Far too many people have dropped out of the workforce, and we need to find ways to create opportunities for them to best utilize their talents. I support using the sales tax reinvestment dollars to assist companies to create, document, and sustain jobs in our county. This has been a key driver in attracting new businesses to Caldwell County, as well as companies already located here or want to announce expansion. In addition, I have remained informed on activities of the Caldwell County Economic Development Commission and continue to support the efforts to create a stronger, diverse employment landscape. Caldwell County still faces challenges as we recover from the loss of manufacturing jobs and the Great Recession. But as your commissioner, I'm proud of what has been accomplished in the past 4 years, and I look forward to continue working for you in the years to come. I want to comment on Mr. Griffin's comment about the school system in addition, and I did vote to put the middle school on property that was already purchased and paid for by the school system, rather than take away from a building that was bringing jobs to Caldwell County. And I also had a greater problem with the safety aspect of putting kids on a federal 5-lane highway. And I will also add that that was a unanimous vote that night that we voted on the school. In closing, I would say I would appreciate your vote and continued support.
Thank you very much. That will conclude our forum today, and I want to thank you all for sharing your time with us this afternoon to help in our effort of making sure that we have a fully informed constituency, both from the perspective of the issues and from the candidates running for office. But even more importantly than coming here today, I want to, on behalf of the Chamber, express our heartfelt appreciation for your decision to step forward out of the citizenry of this county to become a community servant, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Deborah.